try and approach every heat out there as I'm just surfing against myself and, you know, just try and catch 2 really good waves and have fun. And I don't want to be too worried about what my competitor's doing. I know that if I can kind of take care of what I can control, I'm going to do well.
Medina, can he find that pocket? He does. That's a lot of spray on turn number 3.
I don't feel pressure. The waves are pumping and I just want to go there and surf, have fun.
Good morning, surf fans worldwide, and good afternoon, those watching in Brazil. As I'm sure all of you are well aware, world title implications at stake as current #1 in the world, Gabriel Medina, up against Adrian Buchan, trying to find that transfer into the semifinals. And Gabriel Medina, as of late, has been looking unstoppable. Will it be Ace Buchan that will put that final kink and kind of stop his momentum and give at least a chance to the likes of Kelly Slater, Joel Parkinson, and Mick Fanning?
Well, Ace, obviously a great surfer, but make no mistakes about it, this would be a giant upset if he can take down Gabriel Medina. He is a beast of a competitor, and he's been nailing some of the biggest moves in this entire event.
Well, we saw how Ace was able to handle himself in round 4 and then round 5. It's going to take a lot out of Ace. He's going to have to dig deep. Is there anything Ace can do tactically to change his game to maybe, I don't know, put a speed bump in Medina's way?
He's really going to have to make sure he puts himself on the best waves out here. You know, Gabriel has the nod with the X factor, even the power. So if he's going to get past him, he's really going to have to be on those long, clean walls.
I think there's a lot of people that were leaning to Miguel Pupo, you know, Ace's prior heat, giving Pupo the edge in terms of the air game and just how solid Miguel was looking on his backhand.
Yeah, he wasn't able to do it. You know, it was just about, there is a lot of wave tactics out there.
As we've seen every time, Medina fades a little bit, but gets priority. First wave in the exchange, a little bit soft on the outside, grabs that rail with the bottom turn, sends it a little trip to the lip and sends a lot of spray. Lots of warble in this inside section, but Medina goes to town nonetheless. He'll kick out and out the back. Ace Buchan on his first wave. This one starts to stand up on the inside. He'll get a little more face to work with. And a little bobble there, unfortunately, for Buchan as he'll kick out and head to the back. Good exchange early on in this heat, 26.5 on the clock as a good set continues to roll through, starting this off, starting the heat off nicely.
Well, that was a big break there, believe it or not, for Gabriel, because that wave was beautiful from Adrian Buchan. It had a long line on it, and you could see something happen with his front foot. He slipped. I don't know if he was standing on his leash, but that hindered his scoring potential, and he had to kick out. Only one turn here for Gabriel. You could see there was no priority, a little bit of jockeying going on, so he swung left and back right. Just a little tap here, but watch this second move. He absolutely explodes this lip. Watch the spray go sky high. So even though there's just about a turn and a half in this wave, that was a giant move. So it'll be interesting to see where the judges drop this score because, you know, sort of a shorter wave. It's going to set the scale for this heat.
So as we jump to live action, Buchan on his second wave, and he goes to work on his backhand. Now tries to get out front. Wave dies out a little bit, but now getting a secondary hit on the inside, and he'll be done with that. So 2 turns and done for Buchan. Still waiting on scores, and we can't hammer home the point enough how important it is that Medina does well here, and the pressure on Buchan is massive.
What I love about Ace Buchan surfing is he is one of the cleanest surfers on tour. He never digs a rail. And just a perfect technique. Watch how he gets around this section, waits his time, lets the wave get steep, and then he stabs it. Look at his board floating up and over that. You can see he's feeling it. So just precise surfing from Adrian.
Now 24:45 on the clock as we'll be watching the clock closely. Adrian Buchan, the 31-year-old, had success, won the Billabong Pro Tahiti last year. This past year became a father, and there's been a lot of change in Ace Buchan's life. Obviously, he was looking for a repeat performance at Chopu. Didn't get it this year, so making it this far along at the Hurley Pro, a massive, massive boost of confidence for Ace Buchan. So we can see Medina sharking the lineup, and we already have one spot in the semifinals. Who's going to be meeting this guy, Jordy Smith? Let's find out as we talk to Rosie Hodge.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. Our first semi-finalist, Jordy Smith, coming up against Mick Fanning. You know, it really looked like you've kicked into gear. You're finding your pace and finding your stride. Is that the form you're finding in this event now?
Yeah, I think I haven't had an incredible heat yet. I've just kind of had average scores. I haven't really found the bombs that I'm kind of looking for, but hopefully that comes in my next one, or hopefully a final. But coming up against Mick, he's definitely my favorite competitive surfer, you know. Yeah, it's kind of an honor being out there with him. He's so focused, like before the heats and stuff. It's kind of nerve-wracking, really. He was like doing these warm-ups, and I was pretty boggled. I'd like never even seen that stuff before. So yeah, I don't know. I was trying some of my own, but I just kind of knew I had to go out there. I've got a really good board, and I just knew I had to choose the right waves. It was a really slow start to the heat. I kind of started on the inside, and yeah, I think that's what kind of played into my favor, you know, because I actually ended up taking a pretty bad first wave, but then I ended up getting like I think I got a 5 on my next one, and Mick got like a 4, so we really didn't start off too well. And yeah, you know, it's just one of those heats. It was a pretty starved heat in the beginning, and then it started pulsing towards the end. I think we're going to see a lot of kind of heats go like that today, where, you know, they kind of go flat for 10, 15 minutes, and then they just kind of have a massive flurry of waves, and you just got to really be on them when they come.
And what was crucial was that last exchange between you and Mick, but then also that battle for priority with the paddle out. How important was it to maintain dominance and get that priority on the paddle?
The paddle battle was probably the most important part of the heat. Basically, I saw his wave when I was paddling back out after mine, and I thought mine was going to be higher than, you know, my 7.7 or whatever they gave me for it. I thought it was going to be like a flat 8 when I heard them give him an 8.5 or whatever, or 8.7, and I knew at that point I was like, I have to win this, or else if he gets another shot, he's gonna seal the deal. And so there was a couple waves at the end of the heat, but the first wave of the set was really flat. I almost thought he was going to go for sure, and he actually pushed under. And then when he pushed under, I was like, yes, there's only like 10 seconds left. And at that point, I knew that I could catch the next wave, and he wasn't going to have a chance.
All right, well, a great heat win there for you, Jordy, our first semi-finalist. And right now, Peter standing by with Mick Fanning.
Yeah, thank you. Mick, you know, tough loss there, I know. Kind of started out a bit slow, and then all of a sudden some action happened. You know, I know there was one left that you were kind of looking at in the beginning of the heat. You didn't get it. Pretty good wave, but just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it. There was so much foam in that going. I was paddling as hard as I could, and yeah, it just didn't have any draw where I was. I think I was in between two bits, and that would have changed the whole heat. But yeah, and then after that, I sort of made a couple of priority errors, and you know, tried to fight back in the end, and sort of had a good paddle battle. But you know, he was just, you know, he sort of, you know, I didn't even see that left. You know, I looked at that wave and I thought, oh, it's pretty small. I'm not even going to have a look at it. And yeah, he ended up converting and getting a 7, and that sort of applied the pressure. And then yeah, from then on, I was playing catch up and just couldn't get there in the end.
All right, well, another equal fit, not a bad result, but we'll see you in France.
Yeah, cheers. And you know, 5th, need to do better, but it's all good.
All good. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Pete. We look forward to seeing Mick Fanning at the Quicksilver Pro come France. Obviously, still a chance for the likes of Mick. It's all going to come down to how things go with Medina in this heat. We saw a good exchange there. And once again, Ross, Medina tapping into what we've seen before, going for those lefts, taking to the air. Looked a little off, but Buchan looking very solid.
Yeah, I was going to say, more importantly, Ace is on to, I think, the biggest score so far in this heat. Really leaning on that rail there, tons of power in that turn. And then look at this, releasing the tail. So Ace possibly realizing that if he's going to take down Gabriel, he needs to mix it up a little bit. And I tell you what, that's going to convert into some big scores. So early on, I know there's a ton of time left in this heat. He's putting it to Gabriel, and I'm sure Kelly is out there watching right now with some nervous energy. As you mentioned, a big booster here, nice clean air for Gabriel, but just one more move. You know, it's a closeout turn there, a little stuck actually, so I don't think that's going to be too big of a score. And right now, Ace has got the clear lead.
Excellent score coming in for Ace on that, an 8 on top of the 6.5. Now Medina looking for an 8.67. So current #1 in the world, Gabriel Medina, is going to have to definitely look to throw away that 5.83. Scores coming in on that last one, and it's nowhere near in the excellent range at 4.83. So Medina really has his work cut out for him, as Ace Buchan could be a serious, serious spoiler. Let's take a look at the two boards for both surfers, as Medina taking a look. As we'll jump back to that, we'll get to their boards in a moment. Medina finds another left to work with. Will he get any ramp? He lays into it, sends buckets out the back. Another slice. Medina finding his sharp life skills there and goes to the air. Can't get the clean landing, so not a clean finish. But up to that point, Medina, you can see that he's obviously reacting to those scores coming in for Ace.
This guy's such a monster. I mean, he doesn't want to surf to a 7.5 or an 8. He's looking for nothing but 9.5s and higher. And I'll tell you what, he was breathing down the neck of that score right there. Had he landed that air, they had no choice to throw him up into the 9s. Great surfing from Gabriel. And I tell you what, it still could go into the excellent range. He had 3 huge power hooks in the snap there. You know, it's just amazing how alert and attentive Gabriel is. Watch after each maneuver him study the section right there, realizing he needed to speed up. So he gathered speed back into that power hook. That was a lot of spray there. Watch him wipe speed off right there to make sure he stays in the hook. Another clean wrap there. So that's 3 big moves on the outside. Huge tail waft, corked out air there. That's actually shocking that Gabriel didn't make that. You know, we're so used to seeing him grease those landings. So I still think it's going to be a big score.
So I started to mention the 2 different boards. You got Adrian Buchan on JS Industries with the Monster and the Puka surfboards with Medina, and he's remained consistent and committed to Puka's. Great relationship there over the years with Medina.
And you know, one of the few surfers on tour with a different type of tail, that straight line with the narrow swallowtail. He's really been sticking with that. Other than that, sort of status quo for these 2 guys. Similar equipment, maybe slightly bigger board, a little more foam under Gabriel's feet.
It was interesting too hearing from Luke Egan talking about his thoughts on, you know, why that works for Medina and his approach. Tell you what, you know, we said it. It doesn't seem to be stopping Medina whatsoever. I mean, that's a slight bobble on a punted air reverse. We'll give him a few. He can fall in a few, but we're so used to seeing him stick those in his sleep. As Medina finds another inside runner. Is he going to get the ramp? He steps on the gas, takes it to the air, big reverse clean, lands perfectly on the transition. 2 for 2, can't make it clean on the second one. But you have to love the roll of the dice with that.
He's such a beast. He is on another planet right now. He's actually toying with these waves, going for the biggest moves we've seen in this event. We talk about John, you know, Gabriel, he's actually reaching another level.
Now Ace sticking to the rights, doing what he does best. There's that big release with the tail, gets it up to the top, 12 o'clock. Buckets on that exchange with the lip. And once again, Ace just stacking up some good turns. He is feeling it. Little warrior chest bump with that one, as Adrian Buchan now trying to build on the 8 and the 6.5, trying to ditch that 6.5 before that wave. Medina looking for a wave in the excellent range of 8.67, under 16 minutes on the clock.
Well, Gabriel is on the hunt right now. You can see just that little bit of a change in direction from the wind. Just about 45 minutes ago, it was threatening to come from the westerly direction, making for onshore breeze. Now it's coming from the northerly direction, which is perfect for these air moves, and that's what Gabriel's looking for.
Medina is doing laps at the skate park here on the lefts at lowers, just eyeing, sharking the lineup, and it could be 2 separate competitions as we see the scores coming in on that last one, a 5.83, so the judges aren't buying it quite yet. They're going to need to see more off these lefts.
That was for the wave where he did 3 big hooks. This score has yet to drop. That is a crazy air. That's one of the biggest full rotation airs we've seen in this event, literally. And you know, that's not saying, I mean, that doesn't come lightly, because there's been some big errors. Went for number 2. He just couldn't contain himself. Amazing there. Just got a little disconnected on that front foot and couldn't hold on for the second air. So he's leaving the door open for Ace. Right there, you can see that front foot slid to the top of the board, barely hanging on to the rail. Simply amazing agility for him to land that land that air move right in the middle of the face. You can see double grab there, just barely hanging on there. They can back up that back foot on the tail grip. And as I mentioned, he just couldn't contain himself. He's like a kid in a candy store. Looked like he was going to make this landing here. And there again, that front foot comes unstuck, and he couldn't reconnect with the surfboard. It comes unstuck.
It's amazing is the missed grab and the wherewithal, but how about Ace sticking to what has been working up to this point?
Well, Ace, polar opposite plan of attack here, going for that precise surgeon-like attack. And why wouldn't he? That was a clean snap right there. So much water flying out the back. 3 big backhand hooks. You know, this is going to be a big number. He's definitely going to continue his lead.
Jumping back to live action. Now Medina finds his right to work with. Let's watch his backhand. Gets a little caught up there. He gets out to the open face. He'll have to slowly wrap it back to the pocket. Gets a little more stand-up section there. Releases the tail, brings it around. And it goes soft and foamy on the inside, but he'll stay with it. Gets a quick cheeky air there to finish it off. So Medina, you can see just the ferocity and the speed and just how active he is right now. Stepdad Charlie can't take it.
The energy level is through the roof for Gabriel Medina. He is got on attack mode, but you know, give credit to Ace. You know, he is not blinking right now. He is really taking it to Gabriel. And let's see, so busy, as you mentioned, and he is on 100 waves right now on his backhand. And watch this vertical attack, buckets right there, really clicking on that button, projecting down the line, and then he has to wrap it around. But he gets back to that section where he can stab it steep again. Another great snap, and then he starts flying the tail. And that's how much control Gabriel has. He's actually borderline cocky when he surfs. He really tries to utilize each and every section with the most radical move he can do.
And you mentioned Ace keeping it cool, his 4th wave right here.
Well, Ace Buchan, they're still waiting for this score to drop. Huge snap right there, beautiful turn, and he clicks it right on the button again. Look at the spray. And that's really due to him hitting the perfect part of the wave, really clicking on the steep part of the wave before it breaks, shoving that water high, sky high. 3 or 4 huge backhand snaps. It's going to be a big score.
Well, scores drop for Medina. It was an 8.27. Now Medina needs a 6.23. But I'll tell you what, one last score to lock. There it is, 9.43 for Adrian Buchan. Now Medina, current #1 in the world, needs a 9.17 to keep his Trestle hopes alive here. 9.17, 12 minutes on the clock. Priority sits with Ace Buchan. Not sure if he'll lose priority with that, showing a little interest in that wave, and he'll hold on to it for the moment. But Medina now in a situation where he needs a lofty score. Will he take to the air, or will he stick to those rights?
It's going to be borderline confusing for Gabriel because, you know, even though he came unstuck on his aerial move, he did 3 strong front hand hooks on that left and only received a 5.83. So for him, maybe he's going to go, hey, you know what, if this is what you want to see, I'm going to go ahead and join Ace on the backhand snap party. You know, he's going to really have to try and switch it up and change game plans because right now he's behind 8 ball.
Now 11, as we approach the 11-minute mark, this very, very contentious quarterfinals. Current #1 in the world, Medina, trying to solidify and put the nail into the coffin for the world title, become the first ever Brazilian going into the European leg. If Ace Buchan were to take down Medina, it would be the biggest upset at this year's Hurley Pro. And I'll tell you what, who's watching so closely. 11-time world champ, winningest surfer ever here at Lower Trestles, and that's Kelly Slater. He's eyes fixed on the lineup.
100% right now. He is paying so much attention. He's talking about the scores. You know, Ace Buchan, he's got these huge numbers dropping from those backhand snaps, a lot of speed, a lot of power. I guarantee it'd be so fun to listen in on his opinion of these numbers right now. He's definitely got his attention.
And the hyper consistent, just the tenacity of Adriano de Souza, you can never underestimate it. He heads out for the next heat. But we still have about 10 minutes left. If it were to end right now, Ace Buchan would be moving on to the semifinals, and you can see as we look at the current standing, what's at stake for Medina. He has a commanding lead in the world title race with 3 more stops after this. France, then Portugal, and then the Pipe Masters. It's he understands the gravity, the importance of this, and what he can do to the rest of the field, those that are within the top 5.
He really does. This is a big, big heat right now. I mean, I can't tell you enough of how important this win is for Gabriel, and guaranteed, you know, the hyper focus that's going to go into it with Kelly. If he can manage to win this event and Gabriel gets 5th, That's a few heats right there under his belt, that much closer to getting matching up with Gabriel's points. You know, he has a big lead, but it's not over yet, especially if Gabriel goes down.
You're going to have to see nerves of steel from Adrian Buchan at this point. Has priority, 9 minutes, and we've seen these lulls. When that set does come, and we anticipate definitely one to come through, it's been about those 8-minute pulses, and it's to see what Medina is going to have to choose on the fly, knowing that he needs a 9.17. It's not like he's hunting a 7 or a 6.
Well, the reason why Gabriel is behind 8 ball right now is he's had a couple falls. As you see, the results right now, you know, is so steady. He's got the 1 blemish, the 13th, and Rio of all places, Pat.
Oh, it was, Rio was a shocker where you basically had the Brazilian blowout. There was Adriano de Souza was the last one, almost went scoreless with Slater grabbing that 10 in the early morning. I mean, all the Brazilians got knocked out, but those 3 wins, and I'll tell you what, that last one is really the one that was heard around the world. Winning the Billabong Pro Tahiti really sent a message to the rest of the competition.
So just touching on you know, the reason what, or maybe what Gabriel can focus on in this heat and how he can get into the lead. He's made a couple mistakes, and he fell on those second aerials. He had those 3 big hacks, and he fell in the air at the end of that left. So, you know, he's got a lot of room for improvement, and let's see if he learns from those lessons.
Any words for John after what he did yesterday, or is he gets a pass? He gets to do whatever he wants.
Well, he mentioned he was spent after that last performance he did yesterday, so hopefully he went home and had a long rest. His natural ability and instincts is to go big, so he's going to be so much fun to watch.
All right,
next heat.
We see a lot of movement here. 7 minutes, 45 seconds under priority. Medina now finds a left. Remember, 9.17 is the score that he needs. He knows it's not to be on that wave, so he'll quickly cut out, stay second in priority, and you can see Ace just waiting. Nerves of steel at this point. He has to be so selective.
You can see Ace already, you know, with so much time left, the last 10 minutes, he's already trying to keep close company with Gabriel, just getting into his space, making sure he takes the next clean wall that comes through.
So it's interesting, we mentioned Medina, winner of this year's Billabong Pro Tahiti, the Ace winner last year. They meet in the quarterfinals right now here at the Hurley Pro. And world title implications, Ace can really be the spoiler, and he can help fellow Australians, Parko and Mick, along with the lone American in the hunt, Kelly Slater.
It's pretty crazy to think about this heat right now with Ace. He is having the dream heat right now. Everything that he needs to have happened has happened. He needs to be on the best waves and click off 3 or 4 solid turns, and he's gotten that job done. So for Gabriel to get back into this, he's going to need to take a page out of his book.
Let's take a quick look back and see how he got here. The 8 that he was able to grab early on.
So he doesn't have that X factor, those crazy airs that Gabriel has. He's going to have to rely on those long walls and those heavy hooks, and that's exactly how he opened up this score right here at the 8-point ride. Gabriel, on the other hand, going for those exciting, huge moves. He needs those big ramps. Look how high that was. The difficulty level on that maneuver is off the charts. I mean, you're not going to see many of those maneuvers done in this entire event. Maybe on its own, the craziest air we've seen. When we talk about that innovation award. So there's the mistake right there. Had he land that, it was going to have no chance of it to be in the 9-point range. Meanwhile, look at the length of this ride. Not 1, not 2, but 3 huge backhand hooks. Again, not as difficult as these big airs, but the length of the ride, the precision of this attack really has gotten him these big numbers, and you got to give it to him. His plan of attack is perfect right now.
5.5 on the clock, and we see a good set coming through. Remember, Ace having priority, and just out beyond him in the yellow singlet, that's Gabriel Medina. Medina needing a 9.17. Quarterfinal number 2. The winner of this heat will face off against Jordy Smith in semifinal number 1. We'll be going straight into quarterfinal number 3 and 4, then back to the women's semis, then to the men's semis, and then we will be crowning a champion for the Swatch Women's Pro on the women's side and a Hurley Pro champ for the men.
Huge 5 minutes to go here. Gabriel hounding those lefts. You know, with that wind into the face, it's just, you know, sky's the limit. He could do some crazy stuff. He just needs to do more than one air, though. He needs to match up a couple of those moves.
Well, we've seen it from Medina time and time again. He's able to just milk so much scoring potential out of a smaller to medium-sized wave. There's been a lot of talk about Medina's setup. For a little more insight on that, we check in with Pete Mel.
Actually, we'll talk about Ace's setup here real quick. I mean, he's been riding the Monster model, which is basically Joel Parkinson's model. Owen Wright rides it. Matt Wilkinson, all on the Monster. JS, Jason Stevenson out of the Gold Coast. But what I did want to talk about is the fin system here for Ace and for Joel Parkinson, kinetic fins. One of the things that they've been working on is this very thin foil, right? It works really good, gives a little extra twang. And what we've seen from Ace is that twang into the lip and that explosion. I mean, it's great stuff.
Pete, in terms of what you can tell, obviously Ace's approach, are you seeing the twang?
Well, wouldn't you think, right? I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to see the point of difference, and it really seems to me that he's exploding in the lip more than he has all event long. And a lot of it, this is his backup one here. This was like a 5'10", it's 18, it's standard measurements, but I really liked the fin system. I mean, that's something that you can, those little tweaks, right, to get that little extra out of things, that's what I feel like he's doing right now.
Thanks, Pete. Interesting there, and we see a lot of people starting to experiment with the rakes, the foils, the different fin setups. Whatever Ace is doing right now, it's working, but to his credit, as we see a big set approaching, 3.5.
Right now, Ace is staying on the inside of Gabriel. Such a clever tactic. He wants to take the best wave in this set, and so by doing that, he's covering him by staying to his inside.
So some tactical play from Adrian Buchan. Now 3 minutes on the clock. Has yet to see how this unfolds. 3 minutes. Now Priority, it looks like Priority has shifted back to Medina. I did not see Buchan on a wave there. So now Medina, he'll have his choice under the 3 minute mark. And wow, interesting choice for Medina as that wave went fat, so poor wave choice. Now Priority jumps back to Buchan. Medina needed a 9.17 on that. Wasn't quite sure where Buchan lost Priority.
Well, you can see Gabriel Medina kicking out of that wave, realizing the scoring potential was diminished by that wave closing out. So again, this strong south swell creating a lot of difficulty. You have to choose the right wave that stays open.
Here you see reigning world champ Mick Fanning, Joel Parkinson closely focused on the lineup. They understand Medina, a surfer with a lot of natural ability, but it'll be Buchan right now trying to get rid of an 8 on a foamy wave. Gets to tag the lip, but this wave trying to replace that 8 will not be able to do that, so gives up Priority now with 2 minutes. Did he leave the door open for Medina?
Well, the stage is set right now. Gabriel Medina has the entire lineup. He just needs a chip of a wave to come his way. The ocean does look pretty calm right now, so if I'm him, I'm going to be looking for one of those explosive lefts to boost to the air.
Well, we've always talked about it since Medina came onto the scene. There was so much hype as a junior surfer, and it's been interesting to watch him mature and really finally living up to those expectations this year. 3 wins on the CT, current #1, and in the driver's seat. As you pointed out, it is his world title to lose at this point. As 11-time world champ Kelly Slater, he'll have something to say about it. Talk about an incredible heat yesterday with him and Taj Burrow. Looks very calm, by the way.
Well, you can see in Kelly's eyes right there, to me, he knows that it's not all about this one heat. Even if Gabriel goes down, there's a handful of events left. So, a lot of stuff has to happen for Kelly, to overtake Gabriel. But that being said, it's definitely exciting times right now. I mean, I can't stop moving around and pacing.
I'm back and forth. We're up out of the chairs as we watch this heat unfold. Now 45 seconds. There are some lines approaching. Will it be enough time to make its way to Medina? You can see him just getting over that first one. Keep in mind, the score to get well in the excellent range, a 9.17.
Here it is, Pat.
Will he get the ramp? Will he get the left on this one? It's Medina. Medina paddles over, needs the 9.17, smaller wave, not on that one. Now 20 seconds ticking down. Will current #1 in the world be taken down by this gentleman, Adrian Buchan? As Buchan will make his way on the inside, but all eyes focused on Medina outside with 10 seconds remaining.
That's it, Pat. There's nothing out the back. It's done.
9.17. Medina couldn't do it, and Ace Buchan moves on to the semifinals to face off against Jordy Smith. A massive win for the Australian and a huge hit to the campaign of current #1 in the world, Gabriel Medina. And no surprise, slight smile from Kelly Slater.
He's got to keep those nerves at bay because he still has to take care of his work. If he's going to get back in his title hunt, more or less he needs to win. So yeah, you know, this is one step closer, but a lot of work left.
The story just continues to intensify here at the Hurley Pro.
Do you like that? Well, if so, subscribe over there and then watch more videos over there. And then tell us your favorite videos down there. It's a 3-step process. Do them all now.